All right, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Third Podcast. You already know who it is. It's your boy, Art Morrison III. And as usual, episode 5, the theme of season 3. We've been having a special guest on every single episode that can provide some sort of value to all of my listeners and viewers now, since we got the YouTube popping as well. So, with that being said, as you all can see, if you're watching and if you're listening, I'm extremely proud to introduce one of my good friends, one of my good brothers who's been an entrepreneur as long as I've known him in several different spaces. It's very few people who I could follow on Instagram and be inspired and be pushed and be motivated because it's somebody my age, somebody that looks like me, somebody that is showing the same grind as me. It's very few. And I'm extremely, I'm gonna insert the hand claps, right? The cheers. But I'm extremely proud and excited to introduce to you all Chris Darden here on the Third Podcast. Chris, thanks for coming through, bro. How you doing today?
Oh man, pleasure to be here, to be able to come through for sure. Today I'm feeling great, feeling marvelous, really elated, a lot of energy, just flowing from just the core. I feel like of my being, and I guess before I even get into myself, I guess I'll really say why. I know you was watching. I was on Brandon's podcast the other day.
Yeah,
but just. It's been a time I like to call it. I've been in album mode, so I just really been focusing on myself and really trying to build my machines from the inside before I go out and continue to market and continue to build. Because we always hustling, we always chasing, everything's always expanding. But I haven't really been vocal about the type of success that I've been having lately, and just where I stand as an entrepreneur today. But we're going through this pandemic, and what really lit the fire under me. I lost my grandfather this past week. And due to COVID and a few other things, he had health issues. But
wow.
It just kind of connects back to just the lineage of just my family and just really what we stand for, and just always carrying that last name first mentality. So I feel like I got away from the core of that for a while, and it just elated me to just kind of speak and just kind of put some energy here. And we here today. So
that's big, bro. First of all, sorry for your loss, man. That's extremely tragic, and a lot of people are affected by this pandemic right now. And I've been trying for the last 2 months of quarantine and all that to pull the positives out of it. You just mentioned both of them. I mean, or positives out of both of those situations. So not only the pandemic and us being confined to our homes, but then you actually suffered a loss due to the pandemic and other things. But it has created a space where people like you or me who are constantly always busy, always locked in the field, to lock in the other way, which means lock in just you, yourself as the CEO, right, of your last name and of your company, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and really on a micro level, like you said, work from the inside out and grow. And I noticed, because like I said, in regards to following you online and everything and just being inspired by you, I noticed changes in people on IG, because I do so much on IG and social media and the internet in general that I could scroll back on my pages and see moods and see where I was. So when I see people like yourself, or really anyone who I actually know in person, I'm like, okay, I see what's going on. He's locked in. Okay, I see what's going on. He's ready to present himself to the world now. He's ready. And that's kind of where I feel you're at right now with this pandemic, real locked in. All right, hold on. I'm catching my swag right now. I'm catching my flow, and it's time that everybody know who Chris Darden is, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure. And especially from just from this perspective of myself, like you said, you can look back and see moods of yourself. So I do the same thing. You feel me? There's so many phases and layers of it. And it's I know who I'm trying to become. And I got to be locked in, laser focused, and capitalizing on who I am right now, because that's what's really going to get me to the next stage of where I'm trying to go to. And really, the end goal is really really about legacy and lineage and stuff like that. When we get down to the bare basics of it, right? In my specific situation, it was a reawakening to me, because on my father's side of the family, he has 5 brothers and sisters, but I'm the only child though. So on that side, so nobody else had kids. So
wow.
Early on, I was kind of I was chosen in a sense, but I always carried that type of energy. But I never really looked at my the mom side of my family that way, because it's a little bit more going on with our family, and my mom has a brother, right, and then I have a brother. So my uncle, though, her brother doesn't have any kids. So my brother doesn't have any kids. I have 3 kids. So my grandfather that just died is a Darden. So got all this family around me, but like regardless of all of these people, he's the lineage of the name of what's going on. You feel me? Even my grandmother, that's my mom's mom, isn't really a Darden. Like he's the actual one. So when
Yeah.
he died, I'm not that close to him because I'm more close to the, the women and things like that. Never really build with him, but like I know him enough, but I didn't get to build with him on a level to be able to take whatever he built or understood and be able to carry it. So it was like we don't have any family wealth or no money coming behind it, or he didn't have any businesses. He was a baker and worked for Stroman's forever, and that was the era. Like get a job, work for years, and then you retire. But like it just really woke me up to be like, yo, by the time I see my great grandkids, if the matriarch is taken out, you feel me? What is going to be here, or is it going to be biscuits in the oven to be able to continue to bake or whatever? You feel me? So
yeah. All right, so I like this. So let's go back for a second, right? I'm gonna give you a couple minutes, not only because you mentioned who you want to be or who you gonna be, right? And pouring into that, and then you started talking about kind of legacy and moving forward as well. But I want to go back. Let's talk about the last 2 or 3 defining years of your life, or even more if you got more. And then like the transition, and then tell us who you are right now, right? And then who you plan on being, right? And then try to squeeze all that in 3 minutes.
Okay,
Go.
3 minutes. So I would probably say like I'm a serial entrepreneur first. So my mainstay is real estate. My primary company is Black Diamond Construction Services. We have Black Diamond REI. I own a few other investment companies, Wyatt One Holdings I'm a partner in, Chris Darden Real Estate Investing as well. So my ultimate goal is to become the biggest real estate investor developer that I can be. End up, developing multifamily, developing new construction, and holding a strong portfolio to be able to pass down or get all the great fruits of the labor. What happens within the real estate business? I have aspirations to have a multi-million-dollar construction company. I would say we're somewhat on our way, so looking forward to that. And just really what I come from is just really a series of different businesses. I've been in fashion, building clothing brands. I do consulting and things like that from a marketing standpoint, being able to help entrepreneurs develop. So I guess, another fashion company and training company, Marathon Sport, beauty salon as well, a boutique room by Lisa, boutique hair collection, another company, LLC. We sell virgin hair and, hair products and combs and brushes, things like that, to be able to accentuate other businesses. So like I'm just
do it all, Darden.
I'm a fanatic about business. I understand what it is that I'm a visionary, so I can see things. So when I see them, I understand how to build them. It's a different beast when it comes down to being able to manage and maintain and scale and develop. So that's a whole nother monster. But I'm a big visionary guy, so it's easy for me to create.
See the vision.
Create business. So I guess that's my quick pitch on who I am.
Yeah.
And where I'm going is currently right now building the biggest real estate empire that I can build. And then
so real estate is your main, like, so you mentioned as your main thing. Would you say that's like your purpose? Do you feel purpose driven in real estate?
I would say I am definitely. I'm crazy about real estate. Like every day I think about real estate. Like it's nothing that burns like this specific goal right now for me in my life right now, getting properties, buying them, owning them. Like it's nothing more that I desire than doing that.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing else. I can't even say anything burns that much. Like it might be my kids or like the love for something, but like
yeah,
where the core of me is.
So where did that come from?
I don't know. I really don't know. I always wanted to get into real estate. I ended up, meeting Jay Morrison, your brother, around 2013 or something like that. So around 2014 is when I was introduced to wholesaling. That's how I figured out how to get into real estate from a technical standpoint.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was already an entrepreneur. I had a fashion company, so I knew how to set up a business. I knew how to market. So it was just for me. Creating a different platform. I started out hustling in the streets before I got to my clothing line. So that was how I got the concept of business and being able to transact and supply and demand.
Right.
But that specific business model right there was the easiest translation into wholesaling because you done did it 1,000 times already.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. It's just houses. It's just contract. It's just paper. I knew how to move it, and that's just. I feel like we're all manifested holistically. But I was trying to buy houses like in high school. I was hustling. I had like a little $5,000, $6,000.
Yeah.
I want to buy a house. We see a foreclosure. There's a big hoopla about foreclosures, how cheap they are.
Right.
I remember I made a call. Nice little house, and the agent just shut me down. Like, he crushed me. Like, well, he was basically trying to see where I was at with it. At the time, in hindsight, I was trying to see how I could get it. Like, I had a little bit of money. Like, if you don't have $10,000 on hand and 700 something credit score, this
right,
you might as well just hang the phone up. Basically, he just shut it down, and like, it hurt my spirit a little bit. But then I saw like I wasn't where I really needed to be to attain it. But like, that was just like all right, cool. I'm gonna go keep hustling. You feel me?
Yeah.
And that was all it was. But I feel like the first real seeds, though, my mom bought a house when I was in 6th grade. So I lived in an apartment. Basically, it's like our town projects in a sense in Norristown till I was 5, and then my mom ended up buying a duplex, but she ended up converting the duplex into a single family house. So I got to be a part of like the early stages of like just knocking out a wall, hitting it with a hammer, or like doing the work, pulling the bushes out. It probably took my mom like maybe a course of 8 years to really like fully turn the house over, but having like the nicest house on the block over time. And that was just like early experience. I wasn't really like trying to buy houses at the time, but like, you feel me? I seen it, and I'm just like,
I was going to ask that. I was going to say, is there something that happened when you was younger? Because I remember when I was younger, I went to like 5 high schools, right? So my mom and dad was getting divorced. They was like doing a lot of moving. And even just younger than that, like being real young, just now I'm older, I understand, like just a young black woman in America trying to get stable, right? Like trying to figure it out still. Like, I didn't know that at the time, but we were moving a lot, right? So I remember I think my mom finally got in a position to purchase a home. I think Jay tells this in his story as well. I think she ended up getting a home like basically right in the smack dead center of like the hood in our area. But I think she got the house for like $90,000 or something like that. But I remember shopping for that house, and I just loved it. Like, when my mom said she was gonna look at houses, I could have been playing ball, bro. I could have been playing with Pokemon, whatever. I was stopping what I was doing. Like, nah, mom, I want to come. I just liked it a lot. I like the concept of like
that too, bro. Because when my mom was going through that, I didn't even remember that I remembered that, but I remember going to go look at houses. I can't remember what they look like, all the intricacies of them, but like, that was definitely a thing. Like, I
like that. I was like, yeah, I want to, like, mom, you about to buy this house? Like, she would ask me like dead serious, asking like a 10-year-old, like, what you think of this one? What you think it is? Because I would give like real feedback, like, oh, the yard was small. Like, I remember if I called her right now, put her on this podcast, she would tell the story because I was really into it. It's like weird how into it I was. And then same thing, bro. When we finally did get the house, it was, I'm not gonna call it like a crack house, but the house, it was like cigarette butts in the windowsill, like just nasty, greasy. I remember I said to my mom, wait, that's the oven? I'll never eat off that oven. But obviously, my mom, she got the Pine Sol popping and like a brand new oven. Like a little while later, I didn't know no better. But long story short, she basically flipped the house over a span of like, 5 years or so, like very similar to your situation. And I think, bro, that goes a long way, like in like where we are now, of like just that experience of even understanding the concept of pouring into something.
Right.
Even if you take real estate out of it and you just think business and think of starting from something low, right? Or starting with nothing, essentially, and investing into yourself, whether that's through sweat equity, like Mom Dukes was doing, knocking out walls, or putting a hammer in a 12-year-old hand, or buying a property that may not be desirable at first, but you're getting it low for like $90,000 or something like that. And then I think my mom ended up selling that house for like $190,000. You know what I mean? So she came up $100,000 over that 5 years. But that's big, bro. That's man, real estate, bro. I'm happy you brought that up first, because a lot of my listeners, they want to hear it. They want to hear the real estate stories and all of that. So with that being said, introduce us more so to your construction company and the goals directly of that. And then also, bro, don't be afraid to share where they can find you, right? Where they can find a construction company or how they can get in contact with you. But bust down real quick. I know we spoke on the phone earlier. Bust down real quick what Black Diamond Construction is about, what they do, and kind of the process of like what your model is.
Okay, for sure. So Black Diamond Construction Services, I would say first and foremost, you can reach us on our website at www.blkdiamondconstruction.com.
First and foremost.
The hotline, if you need to call that, 267-380-0308. Instagram, beautiful page, beautiful pictures. You can basically see our whole portfolio there. That's at BLK Diamond Construction. But basically, we specialize in demolition, brick exposure. We do a lot of hauling, clean outs, basically a lot of your general labor services. We do full home remodels as well. But the core of us is in the demolition space, and we've been crushing it the last few years, and it's really been able to help us grow from small company just starting out. Guys not matching shirts, no matching boots. Guys got sweats and stuff on. To a full-fledged beast. We got a nice 4 or 5 truck fleet. We have anywhere between 4 to 12 guys on staff, and a bunch of subcontractors that we deal with as well to complete our fulfillment. But
when did you start that company?
2017 was our start year. So
you guys are only 3 years old. Tell me about that 3 years a little bit. Like, tell me the ups, the downs, like, you know what I mean? And how did you get to where you were now with a fleet of several cars and a couple guys on staff, all the way from dudes with, not matching t-shirts or in sweatsuits or ACG boots?
You get like that. So basically, 2017, I came back home from living in Jersey, and I ended up starting this company with 2 of my friends from my childhood friends. Probably been down since like 4th grade, 5th grade, and perfect marriage or whatever the case may be. But it really was an ancillary service for me because my investment company wasn't doing so hot, so I didn't have wholesale deal to continue to sell my clients. So as a wholesaler, as you get the deals, you always got to call the contractor to kind of help you evaluate it so the person can understand what it is that they're buying, right? So that was always an issue, to get guys to come out and you're not spending no money. So you got to really build that good faith with the contractor that, you mean well, and there's money coming on the other side of your referrals and what you got going on, right? So yeah. I understood early that I needed to have my own system in place, 1, and then 2, my goal was intentionally to be able to buy as much real estate as possible. So I knew that I didn't need to keep trying to vet out contractors and see who can give me the best price and have 3 guys come and look when I could own a piece of the company that was going to end up doing the work anyway. So I looked at it as a double opportunity for myself. And initially we started the company, and I took a minority stake in it and figured that it would be a secondary business to me focus on my real estate investment company. But it ended up growing, kind of quickly, more than I expected, where it became my mainstay, and I had to stay on top of it to keep it sustainable. And, I'm 3 years in now, and I'm just getting to the brink of the point where I've, built a subsidiary company, Black Diamond REI, to be able to capitalize on what we've been able to build from a construction standpoint. And we have great clients, a lot of big clients. But basically, timeline-wise, I would say the first 6 months, I wasn't really focused on it at all. I got multiple ventures going on. This is just happening. My partners are running the day-to-day stuff. I'm just there trying to bring in new clients, and basically wasn't that. Mm-hmm.
So you're a true entrepreneur. I saw a video today that said, like, the difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner is that a business owner will sink with the ship, an entrepreneur jump ship, right? Mm-hmm. So you basically started Black Diamond Construction because, like you said, your real estate investment company wasn't doing so hot, and you needed a way to A, pivot and find another angle and make money, but B, potentially save that other company, right? And leverage yourself in other different ways to make that company more valuable, if I'm understanding correct.
Yeah, because it's only 3 ways to grow and sell. You got to continue to sell the same person, the same product over and over again. You got to sell them a different product, or you got to get a new client. So I had to figure out what that different product was. My clients were, buying 3, 4, 5 properties every month, regardless if they were buying them from me or someone else. So what else can we do to be able to get into the pockets of the client and help service their business?
That's a gem right there. We're going to chop that up into a soundbite, because that's powerful right there. You definitely, it's only one way to scale. Or would you say there's only 2 ways to scale?
No, three ways to grow and sell.
3 ways to grow.
Yep. Continue to sell the same product over and over again to the same person. Mm-hmm. You gotta sell that same person a different product, or get a new client.
Understood. I like that, bro. So yeah, continue, man. So now, where's your company at? So you're 3 years in, and what does your company look like right now at this very moment?
At this very moment, I would probably say, in the COVID state right now, everything's kind of like locked up. So like what we really doing from a 2020 perspective is kind of like on autopilot in a sense. We really just focusing on the back end, putting in better processes to be able to scale up once, obviously the doors open up. But, we crossed that $250,000 mark from a growth standpoint.
That's what I was looking for, that number.
Yeah, we continuing to try and, get to that $500,000 mark. So that's where we, that's what our focus is financially. But, it's a lot of work that comes involved with it. And I understand that, like, the difference between the models is that it's so crazy because you can have these great gross numbers and stuff, but the expenses are completely different than dealing with your investment company. Just say for numbers' sake, you might be in a project for, just say $15,000. And by the time you end up spending materials and you spend this and you spend that, you feel me? You already in your budget, just say $10,000. And then you still got to pay Uncle Sam, you got partners, you got, so it can get a little bit, not really daunting, but technical from a kind of net perspective. Like, you got to really start to understand the model and how the expenses move, especially when you're doing full rehabs and stuff like that, because it's a lot more numbers that's moving. And,
a lot of moving numbers. So would you say, we only 4 months in, and one of those months was basically quarantine, but would you say that you were on pace for this to be your strongest year? Your strongest year? Yeah,
that's our goal. So our goal for this year is to have our most profitable year. So
okay.
That's our main goal, to have our most profitable year, because nothing else really matters. Like, you can have the great grosses. If your net isn't nice, then it doesn't make a difference. So we'll try to take it back into phases, right? So about that 6-month mark, it was about, all right, you need to bring more value to the table, bring more clientele in. So we had a steady base of guys that was paying us on, I guess I would call it an hourly rate. So we would get, they would say, we need 6 guys for the next 3 days or whatever the case may be. And we're paying $25 an hour. We bring the labor in for $10 an hour. And we make $15 an hour a head off of each person. And that's how we initially started to grow our business. We weren't getting contracts. So by the time we got to like month 8 or so, I ended up breaking into, our first contract. We got smoked on it. It was $5,000 that we got. And we ended up having to do 3 demos. Like, I can't do 1 demo for $5,000. So we put a lot of sweat equity in, but we mopped them Jones. You feel me? And it was really for me about starting to understand how the numbers work, what the expenses look like, because I didn't know. I never ordered a dumpster before. Bought a bunch of shovels and stuff. Like, I didn't know what none of the stuff costed, trash bags, things like that. So I really got to get that first hands-on bite. And it was like, we a couple days into it, my partner's like, dang, like, yo, you just super undershot this joint. But I knew that the content was more important than anything else. Yeah. We don't have any contracts right now. These guys are just paying us hourly. But once our following and our base and our business base, because mind you, I already have a group of investors. So if I can get them and let them know that we're doing this stuff, I know that there's money there. So
you knew that in business, like, money isn't always the most important. You knew that you needed activity. You knew that you needed content for marketing. You knew that you just needed to make those connections. You needed people to see you actually conducting business, right? You had to get started in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
And although you would like to do that for the right price, you end up underbidding. But at the end of the day, you was conducting business, which is more than a lot of people can say in any industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was my first, $5,000. I never seen $5,000 happen like that. So that was cool enough for me to be like, all right. At the time, the jobs we were doing, we were making money, but it wasn't that much money, Much money. We might make $360 or something like that off the top of them at the end of the week, or $500 at the end of the week. So it was a huge step for me. And
but you was willing to make low money though for the sake of growing your business, which a lot of people don't understand. But they want the home run from the beginning, not understand you got to bunt. You might even have to strike out a couple times just so people can see you up at bat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
but it was big. It was the crazy part. It was big money to me at the time of transacting the business. It was big money. Like, we didn't really know that we got smoked until we got into doing it. It's 2 days, 3 days in, and it's like, all right, we can see how fast the money is gonna go. We need to be charging at least $5,000 or so for each property itself. We smacked them though. We did what we had to do. We still made a profit. That was the crazy part about it. You feel me? Wow. All in house, but that ultimately led us to our next contracts, which I went directly and started marketing in the city of Philadelphia to get, in the hustle and bustle, bigger market, right? And the next contract jobs that we had, we ended up doing for like $5,000 or $55,000 a piece, and it was 2 properties that we had from the one investor. So right there, within a less than a month's time, it was almost like a double up on what we just made off of, trying to do for 3.
Yeah,
we getting that right now. So, and ultimately, it's still compared to where we are now, that was still low, but it got us to all the next people and being able to continue to build our business up. For whereas though we can charge not really a premium, we're not the highest guys on the market, but we mid-tier. We can't just do it for anything, and that's what ties back into having our most profitable year. It's a lot of times where we might sell ourselves short, or we might take a deal, and we might not need to sell ourselves short, or we might not have to. But it's just all about continuing to create the content, make money, and keep guys fed, and keep at least the workers paid and made money. But at this point, we can see how much money we've been able to make, and now it's about retaining it, reinvesting, and figuring out how to strategize and maximize the beast that we got. So
that's a big gem right there. I mean, and I want to take that moment really to explain to people the difference between gross and net. A lot of people don't even know, right? Gross is everything that your business made before any expenses, right? So that means like my company might make $100,000, and I could wave around that I made $100,000, but we might have had $90,000 in expenses, which again, being able to gross, 6 figures is still good as a business. But for you personally, and the actual growth of your business, like net is ultimately the most important. Like you want a profit, which is what a lot of people understand. So even like, I remember starting my business, and the famous saying is like, when you start a business, you don't make money for the first 2 to 5 years.
Right.
And people don't even understand like what that means,
right.
or you don't profit for the first 2 to 5 years. And people are like, how does that make sense? How do you not make any money? But what they're referring to is, right, really that relationship between net and gross. So like your company might be grossing a lot, but like you just said, you're taking all those profits and you're reinvesting them in the company. Right. So they're not necessarily essentially profits, because you're still spending them on expenses. Right. So when you look at it that way, anytime I start a business, I look at that timeline. Like, all right, this first couple years, like I'm taking every dollar that this company makes. If you're able to, obviously you got to, feed yourself and all that, even though paying yourself is also an expense. That's a whole nother, right. I like taking every dollar and putting it towards growing my company. That might mean hiring more staff. It might mean hiring a cameraman, right? It might mean, bro, the hoodie you got on, right? It might mean making sure all your guys got hoodies, right? All these kind of things. So, like huge shout out to you and anybody who's listening. Yo, when you're an entrepreneur, you're starting a business, you got to feed that business so that when somebody call you to be on a podcast, you could be on the podcast with a hoodie that got your brand on it, right? When somebody asks where they could find you, you could give them a website and the phone number, the hotline, and the IG. You can't just be out conducting, I don't want to say ghetto business, but just conducting business, saying you conduct a business, is definitely levels to it. And if you want to reach that level, it's going to require some sort of investment, right, at the initial start of your company.
Absolutely. And what kind of ties in that from the timelines perspective, like when we jumped from at that 6 to 8 month mark, when we jumped from the county work to going into the city, I ended up reaching out to Greg Parker, a big business, and he's like, big real estate Philly guy here.
Yeah.
A lot of people tuned into, and he basically had put a post out and said, hey, I need some workers to come, knock this demo off and get at me. So we ended up putting 6 guys on the table for him. We ended up going to work that next day, but it was still the same type of situation how we had in the county with the guys, where they were just paying hourly. So he was paying guys like 60, 70 a day or whatever it was. So by the time we ended up finished that one project, which it ultimately ended up getting us to the projects I was talking about, those 2 contractors, because there was local investors that were in like of Big Biz, or, had investment properties around them. They ended up seeing us. And that's how we ended up coming in at $2 a square foot and getting the contract for the 2 houses for $5,000 to do the demo. And, but it was like a big jump and a big moment for us to be able to kind of get in the mix for real.
Yeah.
My partners was like, yo, I'm like, we need to stay down with this joint. Like, you feel me? But they like, no, our company's not making any money from this. So guys can walk away and be paid. I'm like, at least our workers can stay and get paid, and like we can try and work our way up to a contract in 30 days or 60 days with him because we know he has a lot of property. They're like, if the company's not making no money, then we're not doing it. And I got overruled, but we stood on it, you know? That was the only project that we ever did for him. But again, the content, it was like a 3,200 square foot property, big monsters demo. We was able to take the content and leverage and get to the next step. And, you know, kind of been out there in the city killing it ever since, building the brand.
Now, when you refer to content, because like we use this word often, and people might not know really what that means. When you're using this word content, what does that mean to you?
That means documenting the process, taking pictures of the before pictures, taking pictures during it's happening, taking pictures after it's done so they can see the quality of it.
Behind the scenes, all that.
Yep, that means video if need, if necessary, if that's your lane, but making sure it's being documented. And
what do you do with that content?
I put it on Instagram. We got a YouTube channel as well. We're starting to do some more things on YouTube.
Doing everywhere.
And ultimately, I feel like at some point, like I want to be able to put together, you know, just some type of documentaries, just stuff like that I can say that, you know, this is where we've been, this is our journey.
Things that bring brand equity, things that help you market, potentially run advertising, right? All that stuff. When somebody Google your name, you flooding the internet with content.
Absolutely.
That will essentially tell your story or say what you do without you having to hop on podcast and say it. You know what I mean? To speak volumes for you. So, bro, being from Philly, well, I mean, I know you from. Where you from exactly?
I'm from Norristown. So
Norristown. Where's that in relativity to Philly for listeners and viewers?
25, 30 minutes. I can take the expressway or I can take Ridge Ave and shoot straight directly into the city from our main street here. So it's all one street.
So who do like people from Norristown? They rep Philly. Like, you know how Jersey cats, like I'm not from. I could pick a city in Jersey that I want to rep. You know what I mean? Like.
It depends. It's like you got people from Norristown that rep Norristown. We got a couple notable people that's out here doing different things. You know, my guy Khalif White played overseas, held the city down, our town down, and really put the city on the map in terms of Temple when he did his time over there. We got Bill Collector, big battle rapper. Y'all might see him on URL.
Yeah.
Same block, grew up together. You know, it's a couple other like ball players and stuff like that, but it's not many people that's doing big stuff on a bigger level. So immediately I feel like even like Black Poppy, rapper, he's budding rapper right now. He coming out, going crazy, doing big things. Y'all might want to look into him for sure. Y'all see it. But our sound and like, you know, in and out of the city, but it's almost like that bigger market. We 20 minutes away. We got the same Schuylkill River. It's like when you want to go big and go national, like you got to put yourself on a national platform in a sense. So saying Norristown is not going to get you that spread that you're going to get. You feel me? I feel like you still hold it down, but I feel like from a business standpoint, that's really where I became a man and became an entrepreneur at. So like, that's why I really go hard Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a big part of me growing as a business and as a man.
That's a perfect answer, because that's basically where I was going with it. Like, I don't even got to ask you the question. That's perfect. So you basically tapped into that demographic and that exposure.
Absolutely, like 100%. Like, you know, you can ride a bike down to the city if you really about it. So
yeah,
30. You feel me? It might take you longer. It might take you an hour, but you feel me? It's a 30-minute drive in the car.
You mentioned a couple rappers. You dabble in the music industry at all? You look like the type to own a label.
I tried. Back when I came out of high school, I went to community college for 3 semesters and I majored in business. My minor was communications. So at the time, I was doing my fashion company, Lear Lifestyle, and I had the opportunity to go to the Grammys and, like, you know, just do some other things through the minor. So I tried the studio thing and all of that type of stuff. From a management perspective, I managed DJs, I managed artists before, and you know, I think it's just for me, more or less, it's more about the marketing and the branding and the product development and being able to shop a product, which could be and kind of setting stuff up like that. That's more so my lane that I kind of fell in love with. Yeah,
you got a favorite rapper?
Jay-Z all day.
Okay. Oh, word. I'm a whole fan too. You mentioned a couple rappers earlier. You have a favorite rapper out of Philly area, Norristown?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Black Poppy for sure.
Black Poppy. I gotta look him up. You vouching for him, Black Poppy.
He carrying it real crazy, like. You feel
it's me? Spelled like Black Poppy, P-A-P-I.
P-A-P-I. Pay man hustle. You feel me? Yeah.
That's fire right there.
You carrying it real crazy though. Like, well, you gonna see it.
You
And,
take that's dope. You take now all this stuff that you know, you obviously have a vast knowledge of business, right? All the way from community college to everything that you're doing now and being a serial entrepreneur.
mm-hmm.
To ask you, because you mentioned you had kids, and it wouldn't be right if we ain't mentioned and ask about the kids, right? So tell me about your kids. How old are they? Boys, girls, like what you got? What's going on?
I got all boys. And
Lineage.
Maximilian, he's 7. Aiden is 2, and Luciano, he's 2. We're both about to be 3, so I got 3 kids.
Word. So you
another little quick. I had 5 actually when I was in high school. I had twins coming out of high school, so my senior year, I was expecting. When I got into college, when I was going through that time, that was when they was born, and we can get into that whole other story. But basically, they died. They were born prematurely, and they ended up dying in that process. So that was like a real big part of like my life changing, like in a short amount of less than a year. Like the whole thing just kind of like it was a crazy little roller coaster for me.
Wow. See, we got to have you back on the podcast. It's a lot to dive into. Yo, that's major right there. So your kids now, how much do you pour into them, like from an entrepreneur perspective? Like, are you teaching them values early? Because I don't have kids, but I could imagine, like, as soon as my son or daughter is born, I'm like, we talking hoops and money off the rip.
Right. So no, I pour into them a lot, man. They see me, they see me doing my thing. So like even like my son Max at 7, I always make sure that like when it comes to like from a chores perspective and things like that. Like he makes money, you feel me? He get paid, so he understand exchange labor for money. Like it ain't just like it's something that you're supposed to do. But I was never really kind of taught it that way. My mom just made me do those things, wash clothes, keep the room, shit like that. But it's funny though, it's crazy because like real rap, I be in a project or we be hustling, you feel me, out there doing the physical work, and I got this broom, and I just remember them times. I know you had that rough house in your house and you just sweeping and your arms hurt. I remember those times, and it's just like, dang, I never thought that I would grow up to get paid to take out the garbage and use a broom. Like this shit is very basic skill that I was taught, but like we literally make thousands of dollars doing it for companies. So it was just like I automatically connect the dots with my son and make sure that he getting paid for things like that. And
understands the concept of compensation and worth and value.
You feel me? And even with my businesses, so I got like a little paper that give him, you feel me? Clean your room, $2. Clean shoes, $1 a piece. You feel me? Wash clothes, $2, you feel me, stuff like that. But I have them go work with me too. Marketing and advertising. I give business cards. You go out when we out and you handing out cards, whether for whatever business it is, you feel me? Executive assistant or administrative assistant, stuff like that. I'm making, this is $10 and $15.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when we out, just make sure that, you feel me? Your mind frame is always working around.
That's powerful, bro. So you just schooled me. When I have kids, I'm stealing all that.
Word, man. Like,
that's valuable right there.
So we do that. My other son Luciano, he I got a picture in here in my money lounge. It's basically a newspaper article. And like growing up as a kid, like I've always in my room, I always collected like all my things, like my trophies and stuff like that, like pictures of my name. I always kind of like glorify myself in a sense. But I got this magazine and this newspaper joint in a frame right here. But he sees it. He's like, Daddy, yeah, Daddy right there. But he's only 2, but he sees it and he understands it. It's like, it's kind of crazy how it connects. But he about to turn 3, and I'm gonna start him his own clothing line, selling shirts and stuff like that. I kind of dropped out the swag race, but he got more swag than I got, so it's easy to influence kids that way. So I understand that.
Yeah.
If he can make a couple, $20, $15 a week or whatever it's going to do and just continue to build it up over time, like that's cool with me. But
guy said he dropped out the swag race. I feel that.
Right. Construction stuff like that. So I get fly, but you feel me? It's not really a priority to me. I don't have a bunch of sneakers and stuff. I invest my money in my businesses for real. I don't really, spend on too much.
Major fact, bro. I definitely got washed after I started businesses. It was like, cause you make $1,000, it's like, all right, I could grab these J's or these Yeezys for 300.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know what I'm saying? I could get like 300 could get you Facebook ads. You know what I mean? Or 300 could get you, I don't know, some sort of marketing, a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it definitely got real once the business started. Along that line too, bro. Like Was it more difficult being an entrepreneur with kids or without kids?
No, absolutely, it's more difficult. It's a different type of struggle, just in the sense of like from a time perspective, like you kind of like more so wrapped around their world and their needs and stuff. You're actually responsible for something.
Yeah.
So, I can say like, cause I've had the opportunity to have that spirit early. So I was 15, 16 running around until I was, I hit that wall at 18, but that was like, all right, once they end up dying, it was a whole nother lesson, and we can get into that on another time. Like I had a fresh start again. So like, refueled, but with a whole new purpose, because I had a purpose and understanding of how easy it was to die. Like I actually held my son like while he was dying, like for real.
Yeah.
They had him in the incubator the whole time because he was born premature, so you can only like put your finger in there to touch him with a finger.
Yeah.
Like so when the organs and stuff started failing, doc basically came in like, look, you just basically prolonging his death. Like what it's gonna be, hysterical and all that type of stuff. But I'm just trying to stand strong. Like, just gave me my son. They put him in a little blanket, put a hat on him, and like I just sat in the rocking chair, and that was just like it just got stiff and cold. Like it was quick though, but it was I can't even explain the feeling.
Yeah.
That was the closest I could feel death.
Mm-hmm.
It was an awakening of how simple it was and how frivolous we are with
how fragile life is.
So it kind of sparked up something different in me and like sent me on a whole nother warpath again. Yeah.
That's big too, though. I was gonna mention, even with your kids that you have now, who are healthy and all that, thank God, obviously, but that feeling of purpose and legacy that actually you started with in the other direction, talking about your grandfather, right, and lineage and all of that. Would you say like how much of a part of your motivation and all of that are your kids to your businesses and just how you are as a person, your go-getter mentality?
I feel like. I don't know. I feel like it's there. It's there. It's already there without them. Like it's already like a thing. Like I can't even think of anything else that I could be or would want to be. Like I'm just kind of like built like that. I feel like I've been molded and shaped over time. Ran through 9, 10 jobs and figured out all these different things. Ran through a bunch of businesses, but like they motivate me from a perspective of like real time. Like it's actually something here that's really dependent on you, or this joint got to get paid, or this actually has to happen. But like. I'm more so like, I think their motivation for me is more so finding myself and being like that better man, that bigger person, that community guy, that person that's just, always on point, because you can't really slip up. You don't have no error, no room for it, for real, because you got this real thing depending on you. So I think it's more motivation from that standpoint than it is like money and like saying I want to get this big business for my kids or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's a part of our community too, though, because a lot of times the more wealthy, they pass these type of things down. So it is that part of it for me, from a legacy building standpoint, and trying to have the right models and say, like my grandfather, he passed, like it's nothing. We're not getting nothing. It ain't. Yeah. So I can't have that be the case, because it has to continue on, and it don't need to be like we need to start from scratch if we already understand how to build the systems or what's going on. So
yeah. Nah, that's a fact, bro. So, if somebody's watching this or listening to this and they're like, yo, this guy, man, cool, man, like, you remind me of me or whatever, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Young Mogul CEO. And that's where I'm at for the time being. You definitely try to find me on YouTube at my Black Diamond Construction page. I'm about to do a new Bossed Up page. I'm basically revamping my Bossed Up series, and that's really the platform that I have to kind of wrap all these things up in one, because it's like I could be so many different characters. It's basically the behind the scenes of what's going on, behind the scenes of the man. So you'll get to see the father, you'll be able to get to see the business, you'll get to be able to see, just get different jewels and gems and things that, just hit me as life is coming. So look out for the Bossed Up series revamped in the documentary for sure.
Yo, so how long you had that Instagram name, Young Mogul CEO?
Probably at least like 5 years now, I want to say.
Yeah, you've been had that job for a minute. So, yo, what's next for you besides construction? Right, we want to grow that company. Do you have any other aspirations? It don't even got to be business. It could just be a hobby, bro. Like, I don't know, anything. Like, what's next for you other than Black Diamond Construction?
Man, I can definitely say definitely having this conversation with you for sure, for sure. I want to kind of get more into active fitness role, more just more consistently. Like I've had my phases, I go in and out. I definitely I want to get into some men's leagues and play some ball a little bit more. That was
Yeah,
always
that joint is hard when you got a business because it's so hard to prioritize like playing a game with my friend. I hoop, like, you know, I play basketball. I have a company. I do it like basically for a living. Yo, like Wednesday night at 9 a.m. a men's league game. I'm like, man, what? I got.
live it though. Peep the perspective of it though, right? So
Mhm.
just imagine, right? Like you went pro, you went through the cycle, right? Did all the great things. Like that moment when you went cold turkey and just like kind of changed and went business, but like you still kind of have like you still active in a sense. You might hoop, but like you around the business itself. Like I never
Yeah.
before it, but like how my joint laid out was like I played basketball. That was my first love before I got into business. So um,
Mm.
my journey, I basically played ball with all my friends. We played AAU, and then we ended up going to states 11th grade year and 12th grade year. So I played basketball with these guys, the same AAU guys. We ended up going to states, right? I didn't make varsity. I played JV my 11th grade year. Stumped me out for somebody else and shit, and then I ended up getting a girl pregnant, and then that's when it switched over. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep trying to fight for this spot and then try to go to college, or I gotta get this bread right. So like, let me
Yeah.
my Warpack joint. So that was kind of like what separated me. But like when I tell you that I haven't played in like one league, maybe early 20s, but like I haven't played in like organized basketball since 11th grade. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's so embedded in my spirit, my body. Like I play basketball literally every day with no ball. Like I'm coming through. It's crazy. It's hard how to explain it, but like literally play every day, and I really took the time to really sit back. Like, dang, I still never stopped playing though. But like,
Yeah.
it's just a thing. It's in me. So like, I gotta really get it out and be more dedicated to myself. To like, yo, you feel me?
Yeah, yeah.
Priority, even how small it is, but like, it's so important because I can't.
No, you're
Stop.
absolutely right, bro. You're absolutely right. I'm spoiled. Like I got the company. I'm on the court every single day. You know what I'm saying? So like, as much as I'm like, I don't feel like playing. Like I'm playing. I got a ball. I touch a leather ball every single. Yo, I got a ball. If I got a ball right here, right? So I feel you on that. And that's just like that could be a whole nother episode, bro. We talk about it a couple times on here in past episodes, just about like prioritizing and like what's the term? It's not self-love. It's like bigger than that. But it's just really putting like your mental space like first. Because we talk about money, we talk about even family and legacy. Like how often though, like do we talk about ourselves and like what we need? Cause I'll skip the gym, bro, for some business. Like I don't care how small it is. If it's something that's gonna grow my business or grow my future or grow my bank account, it's getting prioritized over a yoga session or going to the gym or even a vacation, bro. I've canceled vacations for work. Like that's the whole point of a vacation. But like when you from the bottom or when you had a struggle coming up, right? Or you experience like that rock bottom of being broke, it's hard to convince somebody like, yo, you know what? Like you spending an hour and a half at the gym is equally as important as you spend an hour and a half in your office or you know what I mean, on phone calls. So it's tough. But I do, now that I'm like older, more mature, and like kind of been through that fire, I can look back and say, man, like that stuff ain't really matter. Like I could have been taking care of myself more. You know what I'm saying? Like I could have been like really taking care of myself. This pandemic even too is like a wake up call to that. Like that of like money and the concept of money and time. We was talking about that before too. Like it's eye opening. Like money don't really matter. Like your work, your job, like how fast it could be snatched away from you. And I'm saying that with like a grain of salt, but you get what I'm saying? Even time, like all the concept of time, it really like real. You see what I mean? It's like I don't know, that could be a whole nother episode as well. But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely that. So I'll probably say the last thing like was for me, and I'm speaking from a not an immediate standpoint, but like I have my models, I have the things that I'm creating, the things that I'm building, right? But outside of just being fit and just kind of getting that part of my being together, I said that by the time I was 30 that I wasn't really going to create any more businesses from scratch. So I'm trying to get my fix out now. I'm clearing the plate from like businesses that, you know, need to be shut down or closed, and like just kind of getting those organized, getting my mainstay ones more focused and more centered.
Consolidating.
I want to be a part of something that's bigger than myself, bigger than my vision. Like I want almost like a power team, almost, like, you feel me? Whether it could still be a real estate company or whatever the case may be, but I want to be partnered in with some other brilliant minds, because a lot of times it's like, you know, I'm the center of it. I'm the brilliant mind or the visionary of it, but like it's the operation is so important to the vision. So being able to collaborate with other brilliant minds with the same vision focus is going to make it way easier to develop and grow a business and continue to keep my mind sharp too. So it's like I'm aggressively like searching that right situation, and just hoping it fall at the right time, really. But
that's smart. I ain't gonna lie to you. I suck at strategic partnerships. Like I hate hitting up people to partner. I hate hitting IG pages to collab. Like I don't like it. So I got to get nicer with that too, because at the end of the day, I'm not being fed. Like my genius mind, my brilliant mind isn't being fed. It's being used and poured into other people or managing a team or whatever. But like I need to surround myself, just as you said, with people on my level or higher. If you're not doing that, then you're essentially not growing. You're going to burn out. And now it's like, okay, how are you learning? Right? Like who's feeding you? Who's holding you accountable? Like I don't have no accountability right now. I'm not going to hold you. Right. So I'm trying to get better with that. Even if you go back on my podcast, like season 1, and season 2, I tried like hopping on here, monologuing, doing that kind of thing. So season 3, it's all special guests. Like I have somebody on that podcast, and what that forced me to do was A, acknowledge other people other than myself, right? And then B, even connect with like you and I. We cool, like we show mad love online, but we don't like speak often.
Right.
Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're both in the real estate industry. Even if we're not doing business together, why aren't we masterminding and busting it more often? Correct. Probably my fault, you know what I mean? Because I just don't value it, and I'd be like, man, you know, you get so busy and blah blah blah. But
you're the beast, man. You know, everybody got things going on, man, and it's a lot. So I would say to you, as the entrepreneur right now with no kids, like, bro, I'm telling you, like, you got the most energy and the most fire that you're gonna ever have. Because you have some, you just gonna move differently. Like they usually be like pop. You feel me? Like I can't say like, all right, the time where we was really spending a lot of time together. You feel me? Jay and them, they would have pictures of me falling asleep in the chair, like knocked out, a bunch of them Jones, because I wouldn't stop and I would just fall out wherever I was at. It's not really like that no more. It's like, you feel me? You got family time and stuff like that. You keep
managing your time different.
It might be in the middle of the day. It could be in the evening time. You feel me? But like, you just figure out a way to work a strategy around it all. But it works because it all ends up in being in your ultimate purpose. Because by the time you have something, it's going to be nothing that you feel more that you need to protect or do for it. You feel me? Yeah. So it give you a different type of energy too about it. But in terms of just being freelance, you can go do it, move differently. So like, definitely get your steam
out now
as hard as you can, because you know it'll be different.
Darden, that's big, bro. I appreciate all the gems today, man. We appreciate you coming on to the episode. Everybody who's listening, don't forget to shoot Chris a follow at Young Mogul CEO, all spelled correctly. YOUNG Mogul. If y'all don't know how to spell mogul, MOU. No, I'm about that. MOGUL. Young Mogul CEO on IG. You can follow his company, Black Diamond Construction, at BLK Diamond Construction, right?
Yep.
That's all the way written out. It's not like it's construction.
Yep. BLK Diamond Construction.
Yeah, BLK Diamond Construction, guys. Don't forget to follow me, myself, Art Morrison III, on Instagram and every other social media platform. But most importantly, like, subscribe, share this podcast. We on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, every platform you probably know about. So make sure you like, share, subscribe. Chris, once again, man, I appreciate you hopping on, bro. Definitely gonna have you on again. Yeah, we put music behind these, man. What is an instrumental? So what instrumental you want behind your podcast?
That's a good question, man. Good question. What instrumental? All right, let me send you.
Yeah, hit me on the side. Let me know.
Yeah, let me send you a text on that one. I want to make sure it's right.
Also, we ain't really get to dive in hoops. We're gonna. I'm 1,000% gonna have you back on. But real quick before we hop off here, who's your favorite basketball player of all time?
All time, Kobe Bryant.
Yo, see, we gotta connect. I ain't know that was okay. I'm a Kobe and Hov fan as well. I'll scrap over Kobe, bro. Like,
Yeah, that's
his
the
passing this year is tragic.
I remember the
You said
first
what?
watching like on the tube, the one with the little knob when it click when you turn it. Like, dang, like, oh shoot, who is that? You feel me?
Yeah, young boy going crazy.
Getting number 8 first. That was the first number I had.
Oh wow, yo, that's tough. See, now I'm about to hit you on the side. I forgot you, Kobe and a whole fan, 2 for 2, bro. Kobe's obviously no longer playing, and Jordan is, he got his documentary out, The Last Dance. Everybody's making comparisons and yada yada. So with all that being said, who's your favorite current and active player?
My favorite current and active player. That's a good question. I'm biased, but I'm gonna go with Dion Waiters.
That's
Biased.
That's definitely biased. I like Russell Westbrook. Dion cool too though. Where's Dion at right now?
Huh?
Where's he at right now? What team is he? I don't even know what team he's on.
He just went to LA.
Clippers or Lakers?
Lakers.
Really?
Lakers. So
Why didn't I know that?
got one of the Morris twins.
I knew that.
Lakers.
Yeah. All right. Let me tune into the Lakers if we ever get back to the NBA being the NBA as we know it. But listen, everybody, stay safe throughout this pandemic. Chris, I appreciate you taking this much time to spend. So I allow you to get back and tend to your businesses. Once again, guys, follow Chris Darden at Young Mogul CEO on Instagram. Follow myself at Art Morrison III, and like, share, subscribe to this podcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and every other platform that you may know. I'm Art Morrison III, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.